Thank you.
Sounds good. All right. Looks like Andrew's back. I will tell you, he lives in my neighborhood in Federal Hill. The location of BUBA is actually in Pigtown, if you know Baltimore. It's right off Washington Boulevard. And ironically, I lived the last year, 2021, I actually lived right around the corner from it. So, but I've been over to see the facility. They're doing great things. And he's going to tell us about how it got started, what he plans to do, and hopefully even to expand in the near future and grow the game, not just here in Maryland, but around the country.
Great. How's my sound?
You're great.
Okay, cool. I just bought like a microphone today, just so you know how pumped up I was to talk to you guys. Okay, Andy Weltlinger, founder of Baltimore Urban Baseball Association. We go by BUBA for short. We're actually going to change our name to Building Urban Baseball in America, which I think better reflects this national movement. Our mandate is really to increase and advocate for better baseball culture, better player development, and baseball character and opportunities for Baltimore City youth. So you can come, our mandate, who to service is Baltimore City public school students and minority athletes, regardless of geographical location. So that's something we added a couple years ago. We have over 1,200 registrations here at our facility. For over 400, actually it's over 500 now, over 500 athletes, anywhere from age 6 to 25, are on what I call scholarship membership. So they don't pay anything for access or for training. We're here pretty much every day, and we all do all sorts of stuff. We do group training, we do one-on-one. We let teams, we also service all Baltimore City organizations. So all Little League, South Baltimore Little League, Roland Park Little League, Northwood Little League, Hamilton Little League, James Mosier, Hamden Small Fry, Carroll Park. All these organizations could come here to BUBA as an organization or as a team and use our facility for free. It's a first-class facility. It's 10,000 square feet. All the colleges come here in the off-season. So colleges that worked out here in the off-season: Towson University baseball, UMBC baseball, Coppin State baseball, and Johns Hopkins baseball, UMB softball, and Coppin State softball. What we do here is we let those teams come in and we provide free space for them, because we have stuff that they don't have with the HitTrax machines and technology, in exchange for volunteer services. So each one of those organizations that come here, each one of those teams sends us 5 athletes once a week so we can run daily programming. We are completely an organization that started grassroots, just a bunch of guys in the neighborhood. I started with just 2 kids, and I really just wanted to work with 5 to 8 kids on Saturday afternoons. We started at Latrobe Park in 2016. Boy, did I really screw that up, because then next thing you know, I got 400 kids and I'm just scrapping for resources. I did stumble upon one of the best resources in Baltimore City for the baseball community that I think exists in every urban city in America. The amount of ex-college and professional baseball players that live in South Baltimore, Federal Hill, Canton is like overwhelming. They're all over the place. And guess what? They're all young professionals, really haven't started families. They really don't have a time commitment to where they can do a high school team or a club team. But boy, do they love coming out once a week to BUBA or once a month. At one point, we had 55 guys, anywhere from a big leaguer like Casper Wells, just spent 5 years in the big leagues. I mean, he came out every Sunday, to like a 4th rounder, a 7th rounder, all the way to guys that played in Division III school, never got drafted, just, you know, good college guys. And these are highly qualified volunteers. They're not like dads that volunteer little leagues. So, you know, they're really good to have. So I've started stipending my coaches. I have less now because I asked less of volunteers. We do, you know, we have an annual budget of about $250,000. It doesn't feel like that. It feels like our bank account is always flat. I'm always hustling for money. I'm a 22-year veteran of managing over $1.5 billion at Merrill Lynch. as a portfolio manager. I was one of the first people to resign for the great resignation for COVID. I was doing both BUBA and my career, and it was just overwhelming. And I just said, hey, I'm going to make a move and do this myself. I thought I was talented enough to raise enough money to where I can pay myself a salary by now. I haven't been able to do that, so I don't pay myself anything. I work 12-hour days. I'm doing this all for free. I know enough about Baltimore baseball history to be dangerous. You guys know a lot, probably more. Also, I'm very big on data and maybe sabermetrics and sort of analytics. There's more that's changed in amateur baseball in the last 5 years than over the last 50. It's an amazing time. It's mostly run by, or the tone is really set by Driveline Baseball out in Seattle. And they have been at the forefront in sort of revamping or developing new philosophies of how we train not only youth athletes, but professional athletes for baseball. All their stuff is published online, and they are a bunch of, self-proclaimed geeks, a lot of kind of Division III baseball dropouts that basically started questioning all the coaches of why do they do it this way? Why do they do it that way? That's been over 10 years now. That battle has already been fought. Every major league team out there has somebody that they've hired that they used to work at Driveline, or they have a Driveline consultant. All major league teams have been in. Early adopters of Driveline's philosophy and training techniques are the Houston Astros, LA Dodgers, and the Cleveland Indians. And at one point, I don't know whether it is now, but over the last 7 to 10 years, those three organizations, I think, have like the most wins or close to it. So that really proved to everyone else that this stuff really works. We use their principles and training techniques here at BUBA. We're limited for resources, so we're all about training athletes how to self-administer their own workout. So we teach them, depending how old they are, or their parents, if they're younger, how to walk through all the drills. We give them sort of a paint by number sheet, what they want to do, and then we set them out to sort of work out on their own. In addition to that, I do have coaches that run group sessions, anywhere from 5 kids to 20 kids. Some of that was going on tonight in the infielding class. I'm going to stop there and see if there's any questions. I'm just like force feeding you guys with everything that I can think of, with being a little bit manic around here tonight.
You guys have questions, just can ask them, or you can even put it in the chat like we normally do.
Right, and I can keep going. I mean, I could talk for an hour. I know you guys don't want to listen to that, but look, we're getting national attention, and really, this is something that's never been done before. The monetization of amateur sports is like getting out of control, and it's leaving a whole subset of kids behind. Baseball already has a diversity issue, especially softball too. Softball does too. I mean, you look at college softball teams; they're all like blonde hair girls, and so there's a lot of work I think that needs to be done, in sort of other communities with this, the games of baseball and softball. And we're just an organization here. I mean, that's not what we set out to do. We just wanted to advance Baltimore City youth baseball, but sort of turned into, when I show up here and 95% of my kids are African-American, their problems have become my problems. And sort of we turned the organization to really support, better messaging with diversity and opportunity for, basically Black and brown kids within the sport of baseball.
Andrew, you're doing great work. Thank you for your service to the community. Are the Orioles supporting you meaningfully?
No, I used to have a very good relationship with the old regime with the Orioles. The new regime came in, and unfortunately, I don't get along with their community relations director.
Oh, that's a shame.
And I think that's been an issue for some other organizations. And I think, as far as I know, she has instructed the entire scouting department not to have anything to do with us. It is a shame because we're in the shadows of Candy Yards, and I grew up watching the Orioles. I mean, Al Bummer was here the other day. I mean, I'm just from a young kid. Yeah. And so look, I'm not going to win a PR battle against the Orioles here in Baltimore,
No.
but the way I'm going to work that is I actually have relationships. We already have developed relationships with 12 other teams. And my goal is to get to 31. I forget how many teams there are. If there are 32 teams or maybe there's 31 teams, I will develop a relationship with every single team except for the Orioles. And then so when they ask me in the press, I just say, look, I just got relationships with other teams. So, but that's where I stand with the O's. I was an associate scout with the Orioles. I resigned over all that kind of stuff. And now with the KC Royals, I'm kind of like the eyes and ears of people coming through here.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Yeah. I also think for you guys, I have a lot of, look, I got a science background, plus, I'm a chartered financial analyst. I was for a trade, and for my trade, I have a lot of opportunity here with sorting through a lot of our data. If you guys are interested in that, looking for qualified volunteers for that. I think there's some cool stuff that some folks could work on. I'm so busy here, I really haven't been able to sort through all the HitTrax data, which captures every single swing from every kid. And you can find a lot of kind of holes in their swing, or things they're doing wrong, or things they're doing good. And you can analyze the data and get some type of feedback to give back to the kids. I just haven't got to a point to where I can do that yet.
We can probably help you out with that after the convention's over. And then if you write up something and give it to me, and then we can send it out to locals and anybody who's interested in helping you in whatever category, then
we got basic stuff, but even like with my research background, and plus I'm left-handed. So, I always am thinking outside the box. Like, no one's done this in the sabermetrics community. I believe every athlete, whether you're in low league or in the big leagues, has their own optimal launch angle, depending on how hard they hit the ball. And I would love to be able to write a peer-reviewed research paper, or someone do it on all of our behalf using our data to sort of analyze and kind of prove that every athlete's different, and there's an optimal launch angle for Cedric Mullins versus Chris Davis versus Adam Jones versus this player versus that player. It's just running math equations, algorithms, and sorting all the data. And that's something I'm super interested in. But that's kind of the high level data crunching that I'm talking about.
Anybody else? Or we'll let Andy run his mouth a little longer and tell us a few more things.
So, hey, always looking to tap dance and help. There's a current Facebook fundraiser out there, which I can drop the link in the chat room. So this guy from Philly has pledged, actually someone I went to middle school with. I haven't seen him since 1987. That's how kind of like when you do this type of work, sometimes some special stuff happens. He's matching every dollar that we collect. I think there's only a few days left. So we've raised $4,000 over last week. So that means $8,000 back to us with the match. So, any donations to kind of replenish the kitty would be helpful. Look, I'm always here too. If you guys want to stop by, tour the facility. If you guys have certain trade craft or certain skills, you're a certain type of professional, whether it's legal, financial, fundraising, sales, marketing. I'm always looking for sort of, not baseball related help, because I have plenty of that, but professional help on different levels. So I'm all ears if you guys want to come over individually, tour the facility, and see if there's any opportunity to work together. I'm all ears. Oh, you got that? Great.
Yeah, just found it for you.
Oh, cool. Thank you. Yeah. So, I just vomited everything else that's going on. I actually think, we write for grants every week. I have certain beliefs of why youth baseball is struggling, and, not everyone agrees with it, but I know here in Baltimore City, really what it comes down to is, not just Baltimore City, across America. We've moved over the last 40 to 50 years to a fatherless society. And that cuts through all like socioeconomic communities, but like baseball was such a sport to where like you played in the backyard with your dad, ages 4, 5, 6. And then when you get to Little League starts at 7. You got to Little League and you knew how to hold a bat, you knew how to throw a ball, you know what you're doing. And it's my belief that kids always love what they're good at. I think today, like even if a kid's with their mom and the mom's very engaged and they actually are open enough to go to Little League and not basketball and football, which Baltimore City is so high in, then they get to Little League and they don't know how to hold a bat or throw a ball. And they kind of feel stupid. I don't think that's what a kid like will enjoy doing. So what we're doing is serving metaphorically as the fathers in the backyard. Like I, want to do heavy engagement ages 4 to 8 to get thousands of kids in here, teach them how to do basic baseball skills. And then we will metaphorically hold their hands or the family hands, march them to their local Little League, and then enroll them so they can continue. I mean, I have a plan to double the Little League participation in Baltimore City of the 8 organizations there are, I think in 3 to 5 years, if I can execute. I mean, this is something with the right resources and personnel I can totally do, but I mean, we really are rejuvenizing urban baseball right here in Baltimore City. And you know what? If you can do it in Baltimore City, you can do it anywhere in the country. So many people are watching us and myself. I hear from outsiders a couple times a week. I hear from college coaches across the country. A lot of people are interested in what we're doing here and sort of this concept and this model. Right here, like in the shadows of Camden Yards. I just really think it's special. And actually in the shadows of all the Negro League stadiums that used to be down here, from the one that is where the Wheelabrator incinerator was to Westport. And there's some organizations like South Baltimore Gateway Partnership, which handles the casino money. They're building fields and they're working with the Ripken Foundation. They're building fields now down here in South Baltimore. I mean, there's some things in place right now to our next 20 to 30 years can see a lot of improvement for youth amateur baseball and softball. Okay, I'm done now.
What about the transportation of the kids to your facility? How is that handled, or how does it work?
Yeah, so we run like also at like we do engagement, we do group sessions, and then we actually have an academy. So academy is like some kids that we get behind like every single day. Like we map out their entire week on special software. And for those kids, we have like Uber account to where we will Uber them back and forth. That can be costly. So it brings up a good question. So right now, the families that like to find this place, it's like a speakeasy. I mean, it's not, we use the back door. It's not well marked. It's an old like warehouse. I kind of like it like that, right? I love being in a gritty Pigtown neighborhood with like the speakeasy. What's the secret not to get in? I kind of love that vibe. But honestly, the families that find us has at least somebody in their family that's super, super engaged to be able to hear about BUBA, and they just find a way to get here. I mean, I got all these stories about some kids took 3 buses with transfers to get here. Baltimore's a really small city. You can walk from one side to the other. And you know what I found out, if it's for a girl, an athlete will get across town, right? So, I haven't spent too much time with transportation because kids are coming and I'm always filled. But that's an interesting point because I set out to do this to really get to the at-risk youth. And I haven't developed the resources or the funding to really capture that group. So that's someone in their family, like no one's caring what they do after school. And no one cares if they're playing baseball or not. And no one's going to drive them. And if I can get that right, now that's going to be one hell of a story. I just don't have the resources yet.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a problem for that half, but it's not a problem for the families I'm serving right now.
Just let you guys know, Andrew's going to have brochures and folders that are going to go into every convention bag. So those who aren't here tonight will at least can get some information on the group and what they're trying to do. And, hopefully we get some high rollers interested. Word of mouth is always a good thing, and get them some funding. Hopefully he'll land some grants, and make a few friends and shake some hands, and get it off the ground little by little. So
I'm all about what I can do for everyone else. That's sort of my personality. So if you guys all want to come over as a group to hang out, drink a couple beers, get on the hit tracks machines, like, doing softball or baseball, I don't care. We can do home run derby on that thing. We can play a full game. Like right now, I got softball girls playing full game. Like technically you can go full 9-inning game, pitcher, catcher. The hit tracks calls balls and strikes and moves the runners around. I mean, it's a lot of fun. You can give people special powers to where if I get kids that don't have a great skill level, but baseball's such a negative sport, like we don't want to hurt their confidence. So we give them special powers. So, the ball goes further and goes a little bit longer. Also, the hit tracks allows us to play games with groups of very, very different skills. I actually had Lakeshore 10 and under team beat Coppin State. Right. And that's because Coppin's playing at the college level. Right. And then the Lakeshore team is playing at 10U, so that's, that was kind of like fun to see. Right. But yeah, I can host you guys to do any type of, kind of like party you guys want to do. If you guys want to have a big fundraiser here, I'm all about providing space pro bono. And then, have a fundraiser for you guys. Anything you guys need from me, just, we can talk about it. And usually I deliver. Maybe
once the regular season's over, post convention, and we get through all our stuff, we can, for those of us who do live locally, we can have an outing there, one weekend or something where when we know it's not too busy for them, and we can kind of get in there and see all the facilities and ask all our questions and be the nerds that we are. So
cool.
Do you've spoken quite a bit, and a very interesting topic, of course, about the skill development. Is any time devoted in any way to the strategy of baseball and just understanding the game?
Oh yeah. So that is on the wish list. I actually tried that a couple times and no one showed up. It's everyone hates to have a party and no one shows up. So I'm super, super interested in that. The hit tracks actually really helps with that because I literally pause games and say, yo, what's going on here? First and second, there's nobody out. And I walk them through all that kind of cool stuff that you guys are into. Right. And I'm all about that. If you see my library of books, I got the book here, a friend of the program, Jeff Pickler, he's a bench coach for the Reds. He's revolutionizing baseball strategy at the major league level. Okay. He's now out there at the forefront saying, look, your best hitter needs to be hitting second. Yeah. And he's like, in 3 or 4 years, all teams, their best hitters going to be hitting second. He ran me through why they just don't bunt and all the statistics around that, super cool stuff, and that's kind of stuff I'm picking up. But the hit tracks makes that a little bit more easier to do it sort of on demand when you see that. I certainly want to do a class. And actually, I've asked Peter to go to you guys and the whole community. I would love for a sort of a collection of you guys to run a sabermetrics class here in the fall, and maybe a Baltimore baseball or just a general baseball history here. I think that'd be super cool.
The younger kids, for example, I was thinking maybe at a more basic level, would they understand or be taught what a hit and run is or something of that nature?
Yes, and yes, we want to do all that, but it goes even more than that. Look, we had Tyrone Brooks here. I think you guys know him. Oh my God, and I had a really good group of guys who were baseball guys. And oh my God, he asked, hey, who knows who Jackie Robinson is? I couldn't believe it was only 1 or 2 kids. And look, that just can't happen. I was shocked. I mean, everyone should know that name. I understand not knowing Adam Jones, okay? Because kids just love what's in front of them. They're not interested in Larry Bird. They want Steph Curry because that's right, But not knowing Jackie Robinson, that was so disappointing. There's a lot of work to be done on that side. Baseball history, sabermetrics, baseball strategy, a lot of work needs to be done.
Mhm.
Wow. Well, hopefully you guys got a little taste of what Andrew does. I know he runs himself ragged. Doing this stuff every day out of the goodness of his heart.
Yeah.
Because he has a vision, and he and the guys over there,
I tell you, Johns Hopkins, I have an intern this summer for 8 weeks, 7 hours a day, weekdays. And it's from a Johns Hopkins program. They have over 50 students that go out to local nonprofit organizations to volunteer for them, but Hopkins pays them. And what a big help that has been for me to catch up on all this admin stuff and getting everyone registered and attend. I mean, I've been so busy, I haven't been able to take attendance, and that just can't happen. And I mean, I just want to say, like, I just want to congratulate someone at Hopkins, man, because what a great program that is. All universities should do that. And that's really first class. It's been such a help to us.
we like to hear the cooperation, because we've all been through the pandemic, and those of us who are in the 501c3 nonprofit group, like I am at the museum, you've seen funding drop and attendance drop and donations go down, and you've had to let staff go and all this kind of stuff. And we have all those lovely millennials who don't want to work. So, for those of us, those kind of organizations that fought their way through it and are still around, kudos. And I think the light at the end of the tunnel, and a lot of the ones who have similar missions are now cooperating more. I noticed in Baltimore, there's a lot more museums and attractions cooperating with each other, because they're all in the same boat trying to get the same thing, getting people come through the door and whatnot. So, what Andy's doing is phenomenal. I wish I knew about it a little earlier, since I lived right around the corner. I would have loved to stopped over. But hopefully he's going to come to the convention. And
I will come to the convention. In addition to that, I want to hang out with you guys. But one of the things that's so different around here is how we're using technology to. Our kids are great athletes, but they're well behind their counterparts. Like, I played for Calvert Hall, like where I was at age 14. I mean, we're using technology and new training philosophy to catch them up quickly. And just to give you a quick soundbite, some of that is, Little League Baseball has not changed anything like in 80 years. I mean, they just haven't adapted. I mean, to have 7 or 8 year olds play a baseball game is borderline absurd. It's such a difficult sport. Like, we play like little mini games here, 3-on-3s, 5-on-5. Sometimes we play games that they're doing baseball skills that doesn't even look like baseball, right? We're almost fooling kids into learning how to do baseball skills disguised in some type of fun kind of game. And then we do stuff like, baseball is dominated by contact first. You think, keep your eye on the ball, and like little Johnny misses, it's okay, just make contact. No, we don't do any of that. Okay. We want our kids to swing as hard as they possibly can, every single swing. And we don't care if they hit the tee. We don't care if they're miss. This is all the new philosophy. No one cares about size anymore. And this all happened within the last 10 years. Look at Altuve and Pedroia and Cedric Mullins, and Mookie Betts is a small guy. These guys are hitting this ball farther than anyone else because they got great shoulder to hip separation, and they swing out of the shoes every single time, and they practice it their whole lives. This is not something you can start practicing at 21. All right. So we're out there just telling kids to swing as hard as they can. And this stuff is going to, and there's so many more philosophies that we encourage and that we do differently here. I'm just really proud of the stuff we're doing. We're being so progressive, right? With a segment of kids that they're training so antiquatedly, right? And they're so far behind. It's really a cool story right here in Baltimore City.
A lot of the skills you've mentioned have related to hitting and so forth. What about pitching? Do you devote a lot of attention to that as well?
Man, so I'm a pitcher, right? So, pitching takes so much more time, right? So we are doing pitching lessons, but we not as much as hitting and fielding and arm care. and that kind of stuff. It's tough to get to, but twice a week we have pitching lessons. It's tough. It takes a lot of time up.
Yeah.
So that's something we got to work on.
Mhm.
And that's a problem in little leagues across the country. So when you're really, really young, you have machine pitch. And then you go to like age, I forget what it is, maybe age 10, you go to kid pitch and no one can throw strikes. So local little leagues, their participation drops off 40% when you go from machine pitch to kid pitch. The game gets so much more boring and everyone quits.
Mhm.
And like, there's been no effort to solve this problem, so I'm trying to solve it, but others are not. 40% drop off.
What age did you say?
40% drop off.
At what age?
Oh, I think it's maybe age, you go from 7-8 to machine pitch. I don't know, Peter. Maybe it's 10. I don't know.
10-ish. Yeah, that
but
makes sense.
there's a large step down there. So that's the problem. I mean, if you're running a business, you don't want you lose 40% of your clients or customers. You're going to do something to fix that.
As a parent, I can say, having watched some of those games too, there's a 40% drop in interest.
Yeah. Oh, try. Yeah. So. All right. Well, look, I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you guys. I really want to come hang out with you guys. I will be at the convention. I probably got to run because I got backed out, as you guys saw. But hey, you guys reach out to me, and come visit me. Love to have you.
Yeah, Andy, you sign off, and we're going to say goodbye in a few minutes too. Thanks,
Okay,
buddy.
guys. Yeah,
Be in touch.
Guys,
Thank
great to see
you.
you guys. Okay, great.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Yeah.
Hopefully that was a little bit of a taste. I've been over to the facility 2 or 3 times now. It's a great concept. And and if you read about the inner city ball, as we all know, the participation of minorities has gone way down, over decades, as they push kids towards basketball and football, if they do anything at all. So hopefully, at least from Baltimore, as we all know and will learn at the convention, it has an extraordinary baseball history professionally going back to the 60s. So this is a baseball town. Someone who's not from here, but this is my adopted home. I'm very, very much behind Andy's vision, and I wish I had the resources to be able to help him out. So I guess the next thing is the Peeps that's tonight. I'll jot lunch in 2 weeks on Wednesday. Jeff, if you're coming.
Are you going to definitely be there?
Yeah, I should be there. I don't have any. Let me look at my
There's
calendar
no-
real quick, but I don't have
there's
any
no- I
doctors.
know there's no game that night I'm going to. I think they're on the road.
No, I think that's the All-Star week, isn't it?
It might be.
It is. The All-Star game is the 19th.
Yeah, I wonder why it's late this year. It's usually the second week in July. This year it's the
It
third
had to
week.
do with they gave it to LA again because they didn't do it in 2020. So maybe it had to do with their configuration. So,
Really?
and then we'll have our keeps it or the battle at the end of the month. Before you know it, convention will be here. So,
Before you know it, the World Series will be here.
yeah.
Goes so fast.
It's getting darker downtown Baltimore. It's not raining yet, but it looks like it's coming. So I'm glad I'm not at the ballpark tonight.
The Rangers could have used his instructions tonight. I have the game on beyond the computer thing. The Texas guy on third base with 1 out and the Orioles infield back, they hit ground ball to second and he didn't score.
Well, it's not as bad as the White Sox the other night, who hit into an 8-5 triple play.
I saw the 8-5, but I didn't see exactly how it happened.
There was runners on first and second, or second and third.
I think it was first and second.
First and second, and we made that amazing grab. the guy was halfway home who was on second.
Yeah. Okay.
Basically tagged one out and stepped on the bag and got them both.
Oh, so the second guy made two. The second
The shorts,
guy got
yeah,
two putouts. Got two putouts.
third baseman made 2 plays.
Two putouts.
Two outs.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
So, and I saw Tony La Russa's expression in the dugout. I thought he was going to quit on the site. So,
There's a lot of people in Chicago wish he had.
right. Yeah, he's definitely past his prime. And no disrespect to him, he obviously
Yeah.
deserves where he is in Cooperstown. But yeah, he should have stayed on the shelf.
Yep.
And I guess that's it. I don't have anything else to say. Going to 3 games this week, and then anybody ever been to Brooklyn to see the Cyclones?
No.
They used to be the New York Penn League, and now they're like Aberdeen. They're high A. So I'm going up the weekend of the up and back to 7 days, the 17th. I want to see that ballpark. They're not playing Aberdeen, but give it a try. I've seen Yankee Stadium, and I've seen Citi Field when the convention was there. So I'll visit New York for the minor league ballpark.
Is that one near Coney Island?
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's right next to the roller coaster in the Astro World.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I think I've seen pictures. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're a Mets affiliate, I think. So.
And the Orioles just scored 2 runs.
Good. I didn't get my alert yet.
Second and third infield grounder. The guy threw it away at first base.
Excellent. Where's my updates? Oh well. But appreciate you guys showing up.
Peter, my apologies for not making it down live tonight.
That's okay. I don't think anybody's probably there. I mean, the weather looks lousy.
That was kind of the key there. Yeah.
And it is the summer and it's vacation seasons and all that kind of stuff. So I probably won't go the next one in person because it's actually my birthday. But then starting September, I'm going to make every effort to get there and set up. I can't drink beer, unfortunately, because of my health, but it's a nice venue if you haven't been before.
And then I look forward to it.
And obviously for those going to the convention who do the Lost Ballpark tour, that will be part of it.
Can I give a quick shout out for tomorrow night's event at the Ivy Bookshop?
Go right ahead.
With our friend Phil Wood. Phil Wood, man. Phil is so wonderful. He and I have been working together on this book for the last couple of years, and so I published a book back in the spring. For those of you who don't know, opening day, 50 for 50. I went to 50 straight opening days, 29 in Baltimore. And Ivy Bookshop invited me for a book signing tomorrow night, but they said it needs to be in conversation with somebody. So Phil is the guy, and so Phil lives half the year, as you may know, in Tennessee, but he's back in town.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
He teaches at he's an adjunct professor at Austin P, his alma mater.
Oh, wow.
But he came back to Baltimore. He still has a house up north of the city, and he's back in town for the last couple of months, and so he'll be there tomorrow night. We're starting at 6, so anybody that's going to the game want to stop by and see us, talk about baseball, whatever, and then the game starts at 7. So
I'll check my. I might be able to make it. Mike, send me a little blurb.
Sure.
Tomorrow, and then I'll put it to just our chapter members. Maybe you can get a couple. So
I hate to have Phil come all the way up here and do this and have 4 people there, but that's
I mean, you take a gamble with anything. So.
He's been great. I got him on board with this project early on to keep it accurate, because I knew if I had a single microscopic factual error, he would pounce. He did. It was great.
Hey, I found in Tim Curtin's book, the one that came out in 2007. Forget the title of it.
The Sacrifice Fly book?
No, the one before that.
Before that, okay.
I got it. It has long since been published. And this is when Baltimore didn't have a chapter, and he did a talk, the Bob David chapter down in Columbia. And this must be like 2010 or 11. And so I met him, got the book, and found a misquote. It had nothing to do with baseball. He was quoting a movie, but it was attributed to the wrong film. So I made sure to send him an email. I'm like, I'm a big Clint Eastwood fan, and you just mentioned the wrong film, dude. So you know how we are with making sure everything accurate. Like at the museum.
Yeah.
Jeff, you know how many times I've told them to change those one or two things that are
The
inaccurate?
the IPA.
Right,
They
that
use
and the one where they list the wrong year on the World Series and stuff, and those that one little plaque. So I said, you're gonna hear from SABR members when they come through if this isn't correct. So
In chapter 2002 of the book, the Orioles play the Yankees on opening day, and it's the beginning of the Yankees' 100th season. And I had this throwaway sentence in the beginning of the chapter. It said something like, you know, where better for the Yankees, if not at Yankee Stadium, to begin their 100th season than the city that spawned the Yankees when the Orioles left and became the New York Highlanders in 1902.
There we go again.
Phil pounced all over me. It did not happen like that. I know there's stuff out online that says it did, but it's not true.
Oh my gosh. I mean, he agrees with me. Oh my God.
He says the Orioles dissolved the franchise and 6 of their players wound up playing for the Highlanders, but the Orioles did not become the Highlanders.
I save a link from Baseball Reference from 2014 to send to anybody that says that.
But I mean, truly, I researched it. I found a couple of corroborating sources. I put it in there. So thankfully, Phil read every chapter early on, and we made those kinds of corrections. But he was an absolute pleasure to work with. And so anybody that can join us tomorrow night, please.
that's
do.
good. I'm gonna make a. Let me look at my calendar right now. I won't commit, but I will see if I'm available. I think I am.
Fantastic.
Where is that located?
The Ivy Bookshop is in Baltimore. I'll post here in the chat.
I think it's on Falls Road.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's still. I think it's still within the city limits.
Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah, my wife is going to a wake celebration of life thing. So yeah, I could probably zip up.
Love to meet you.
I've never officially met Phil, I don't think.
I have been to his basement and seen his incredible collection of baseball.
I'm sure.
memorabilia. It is absolutely stunning.
So, well, yeah, send me that, Mike, and I'll blast it out in the morning.
I
And
have a story in the book I tell about when I was 9 years old. I went down to Rinaldi's Cleaners and got to try on Frank Howard's 1969 jersey. And I get my picture. I was a little boy, and it was just great. Phil reads the chapter and says, well, if you want to recreate that, I happen to have one of Frank Howard's 1969 game-worn jerseys. Oh, so cool. That's so, well, it was a road jersey, but who cares? Wow. Yeah, so he's been great. All right, hope somebody can see you tomorrow night.
all right, guys. Well, thanks for everything. And you know how to reach me. And, you know, we'll all be seeing each other in a little over a month in person. So,
Sounds great.
all right. Good night, guys.
Okay, good night.
Yeah, right.